Welcome to the Trenches. I'm Sam Mays. Before we get started with the show, I've got some very special people to thank. Lock Supply, Arrows Health, MidFirst Bank, the Oklahoma Ford Dealers, the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum, FireLakeJobs.com. Remember, drive into your best in Oklahoma Ford dealers today for the best deals on Ford's full lineup of trucks and SUVs. Ford is the best in Oklahoma. And I'm so excited to be working with Arrows Health. They are dedicated to helping the men and women of Oklahoma live a healthier, more fulfilled lives. They provide hormone replacement treatment, peptide, HGH, and sexual health treatment for both men and women. They also provide nutritional, hydration, and weight loss treatment plans for both men and women. With over 30 years of experience, Arrows Health can help you take back control of your health. Check us out at www.arrowshealthok.com. That's www.arrowshealthok.com, or just drop by and see them. Welcome into the Trenches. I'm Sam Mays, and today putting his hand in the dirt for the very first time on the show is one of my former quarterbacks, a former 5-star recruit to the Oklahoma State Cowboys, Mr. Bobby Reid. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you doing, man? It's good to see you. It's been a while. It's been a
long time.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. You haven't aged a bit. You still have the best smile on the team. The first thing I recognize about you when you got to Oklahoma State is this kid's smile is incredible. So, yeah, man.
I had to be marketable, man.
Right. Absolutely. That's how. Look, as an 18-year-old quarterback, that's the mindset, right? How can I sell myself?
Exactly.
You would have done great in NIL these days, man. You would have killed it.
Oh, hey, man. I tell the kids, hey, man, y'all are lucky, boy. Woo!
Yeah, get taken care of. No, especially being the first 5-star quarterback in Oklahoma State, probably history at this point.
Yeah.
At that point, that was 2004-5, right? You left North Shore early, a semester early, to get to Oklahoma State.
I got there January 2004.
Yeah, January 2004. And so what the Cowboys were doing, so this is my first memory of Bobby Reid. We're playing in the biggest game of our lifetime, right? The Cotton Bowl was calling. It was Eli Manning. It was Ole Miss. That incredible stadium, the split right down the middle. Like every time I go watch OU Texas, I have a nostalgic moment just remembering what it was like seeing one side orange and one side blue. It was nuts. It was a crazy game. And I remember looking up at that ancient Jumbotron, and there's Bobby Reid. And this is before Facebook, before Twitter, before social media. So us as players, like I'd heard the name, but I didn't know your face. You know what I mean? I didn't know what you look like or any of those things. And there you are in the sidelines. And you got that perfect smile on your face, and you're waving to the camera. And I'm looking around at my teammates like, who is this dude? Like, we worked all season long for this moment, and he's getting a standing ovation. I don't even know who this guy is.
Yeah. I remember, man, getting off the plane, and I walked right into the locker room. That's when we practiced at the old Cowboy Stadium.
That's right.
Remember?
Yeah. So cool.
And at my locker, I had a couple of bowl gifts. Remember the little mini Samsonite suitcase?
Yes.
I still got it, man. I remember some of the guys that were on the team. They were a little hot that I just walked in there and got all the bowl gifts. I hadn't been on the team but for 10 minutes. And I got per diem and everything.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I was only there for 3 days, but I mean, it was great for me, man. And that was before guys were going to school, going to college earlier. Now it's kind of a thing. You want to kind of get a jump on things, but that was a pioneer move by me and the other guys.
Yeah, man, that was it was exciting times, no doubt. Now, obviously, we ended up losing that game in dramatic fashion. I was pretty devastated when we left the field that day, but obviously things were looking up as we head into the next season. Josh Fields goes to the Major League Baseball draft. He gets drafted by the Chicago White Sox.
The Sox.
Yeah, and now we have this. It was my first ever quarterback battle, right? We have Donovan Woods, who's an established, player. He's also young. Donovan was a redshirt freshman at the time, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we were all freshmen. Me, Donovan, and Al.
Or all true at the same time?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Bobby got in the locker room, and his locker was somewhere near mine. I can't remember the exact location. And this dude took off his shirt, and I looked over, and I thought, my high school strength and conditioning program was hot garbage. Was just trash. Like you showed up 6-something, 2-something, just 6-pack abs. Everybody's looking around like we're not getting it done. We're not working hard enough. Yeah, man, that was a crazy summer, crazy spring, and Everybody pushed each other. That was an interesting season that next year because we lost some stuff in the offensive line and it didn't necessarily go the way that we hoped it to. But that was the end of that Les Miles era that really kind of put Oklahoma State in the position that they're in today. At the end of the day, you got to think of my class and what you guys accomplished leading up to that 2009, 10, 11 stretch where they won that Big 12 championship, and we played a pivotal role in the success that Oklahoma State is having in 2023. And it's cool to be a part of the story, when you really think about it, no question. Now, you ended up back at Oklahoma State for a little bit doing some working with Mac Butler, correct?
No, actually, I was on the staff. I was a GA. I did I did a year on offense and a year on defense.
Okay. And then you left Oklahoma State and got back into high school ball.
I did a year at SMU, then I got into high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you coaching at now?
So I'm currently at Lake Dallas. It's a small little town south of Denton, in a town called Corinth, but the school is actually called Lake Dallas. I'm one of the offensive coordinators and / quarterback coach, and I'm also the JV head coach too.
Nice.
Yeah, man, that's my proudest moment right there, man.
JV football is the only time I ever scored a touchdown. JV football, yeah. My freshman year, I was out there playing defensive end, mad as hell because I didn't want to play defense.
Yeah.
And the coach told me to drop back in the flats, and I was like, I don't even know what that means. And I backpedaled back in the flats, stood there, and the quarterback threw the ball right to me. I mean, literally right to me. I'm looking at the ball. My quarterback, who is the safety on the defense, looks at me and says, "Well, run!" And I just started bumbling down the field. Yeah, man. Yeah. JV dreams for sure. That's got to be. I mean, how's it feel to be given back?
Man, you know what? After being in the game for so long in any capacity, that's the only thing I really lean on now. The impact that I'm making with the guys, just telling my story, because they I don't try to go into any new school tooting my own horn. It just kind of happens when they ask the right questions. Right. Then they start Googling, and then you look up, there's pictures of me all over the locker room with my old mohawk, and it's just, they get a kick out of it, and I enjoy it. But, just helping guys and when those guys listen to you, it's a great moment because, society is so crazy nowadays, man. And if I can help, a couple of kids off a team every year, me and the other guys on the staff, we can collectively, impact a big bunch of kids every year that are moving from high school into adulthood. And it's great to still keep in contact with some of those guys. Coach, you was right, man. This kind of stuff is crazy. I've been trying to tell you, you think you got it solved, man, but it's something at every turn, and it's a great experience. So I really enjoy it.
How much, we mentioned NIL kind of joking around when we got started, but how much of that conversation are you really having, with your high school kids, with guys that are potential D1 guys?
Oh man, I'm having it like none other, because, I still talk to college coaches all the time, and I got buddies that I grew up with that are close, that are real close to me, that are college coaches, not just guys that coach me, but, and, they're, we're always talking about the ins and outs. And I actually have one kid now, he's, a really high recruit, and he's kind of on the fence about things. And I'm trying my best to give him the most 100% detailed information that I can, as far as, once you get there, all the recruiting stars, all that's out the door. You're going to start over as a freshman. They're not going to care. You got to go in there and make some noise. Don't worry about the money. That stuff going to come. You start making plays. You got to make sure you got to get your paperwork in order. The portal, we can still have portal talks, because, that's an option now for kids, and it's basically free agency. That's what I keep telling them. If it don't work, don't sit there and burn the bridge, because what happens, a coach that's on that staff, he becomes an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. If you leave a good taste in his mouth, he's going to mention you at the new staff that you might want to go to. So, go in there and run this as a business, because this is a business now. It truly is. With this money and transactions and stuff now, legally, it's a business. So you got to go in there with the mindset that, hey, if I'm gonna give it my best. If it don't work, then I gotta find a situation for me that works best, and I can't burn any bridges. I gotta do this the right way.
Yeah, no, I'm as somebody that sits, I've been in the media now for almost 20 years and sitting in the seat and watching how all this stuff unfolds. I feel like there are coaches that aren't up to speed on the business of college football today. Yeah. But I also feel like there are student athletes that are very much being, I don't want to say taken advantage of, but what they're looking over here when they should look over here, right?
Absolutely.
They're looking at Oregon's shiny locker room and LSU's unbelievable facilities, and Oklahoma State still got top 20 facilities in the country. Yeah. They're seeing all the glitz and the glamour and the put me in this throne and put this crown on my head, and this is all great, but they're not thinking like businessmen, right? The question is, how many upperclassmen are in front of me on this team?
You got to do your work. You got to do your homework.
You have to know the roster, and you have to be able to go to a place that's going to help you become a better football player, right? I mean, that's the goal. At the end of the day, I'm a 60-40 run guard from Youngstown, Ohio. I had no business coming out to Stillwater, Oklahoma to play football back in 2000. The reason I came was the conference, right? The reason I came was the opportunity to play against Oklahoma and Nebraska and Texas A&M. As far as the line of scrimmage play, they was the best in the country back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So that was a business decision that my father and I sat down and had, where it was like, well, this is the only school that's offered you out there, so that's where you're going. You know what I mean? That's what it came down to. Trust me, Miami had better facilities.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So it's just one of those things where you just hope that these kids they listen to you, as a coach that's been there, done that, got the T-shirt, and you can sit there and tell them, hey, this is the decision that you need to be making, and these are the things, the questions that you need to be asking, because they don't want to answer those questions all the time, right? Correct. They just wanted you to see all the other things, right? I mean, it's an art of deception, it's almost.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. You hit it right on the head. Like, I get asked this question by my kids all the time. How many scholarships did you have? Well, why'd you go to Oklahoma State? And I tell them, man, when I was going through the recruiting process, I journaled every interaction I had with a college coach. And it really became a process of elimination. My initial school that I wanted to go to was Georgia. Okay. I waited a week. Georgia said, hey, we're not going to recruit anymore. Another guy committed. Okay, fine. Oklahoma State was in the picture, and Ohio State. Well, looking at the rosters, Ohio, I kind of knew Josh was there, but I knew if he stayed, he had one more year, and the other guys were freshmen. Okay, up there at Ohio State, they had guys. So Oklahoma State, how it became the place for me, like I said, with Josh leaving, I'm saying, oh, there's two more freshmen there. If I leave in December, I'm 3-4 months behind them. You know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of how it all kind of fell in my lap. It was all a process of elimination. I gave coaches time and days when to call me when I was free to talk on the phone. Guys that didn't hit it, I guess I'm not that important. Scratch you off the list. You know what I'm saying? And it went real fast. And like I said, the guys that recruited me at Oklahoma State, they did exactly what I told them to do or asked them to do, and that's how it happened, man. It was not hard as some people make it.
Right. Yeah. Some people are making it extremely difficult, and as much as I can appreciate the portal, I think there very much is a time and a place for that. I think there are kids every single year that get, every year there's a kid that gets lost. Yeah. Right. All of a sudden the recruiting catches up. They bring in a JUCO guy that beats you out, or you just aren't good enough to play Division I football. You were a project player that they failed on. So now what? You got 2 years to sit here and do nothing. Like that kid deserves a portal to be able to go somewhere else and seek opportunities. Right. Yeah. No, but now absolutely. These kids are using the portal as, well, coach, I'm a true freshman. And coach said I was going to play this many snaps this year, and I didn't play those snaps, so I'm going to leave. No. Yeah. And then those kids are stuck in the portal for 2 years. Yeah. I'm just, once again, the business of college football, understanding when to pull that trigger and when not to. Like right now, there's if you're a true freshman that got 5 snaps on film your first year, why would any coach consider recruiting you over a true freshman and that they can recruit where they've got 12 games of high school film on?
Absolutely.
Right? They got current film. You got 5 plays.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm telling these true freshmen, you have to stay there. You have to stay there another year and try to get more playing time. And if it doesn't come, I get it. But these dudes that are just leaving after 1 year have lost their mind.
Yeah, that's why I hated it at the time, but I appreciate it now. Our old transfer rules. You had to sit out a year or two if you try to leave. You sit in that dorm room, you're like, man, I might as well just try to toughen this out and come back with a different swing at things, you know. But now, like I said, man, these guys up and leaving like it's no joke. And you know, some guys it work out for. You know, I'm always following quarterback, so you know, I give an example about Bo Nix. You know, he had a little run at Auburn, didn't go out as well as I guess he thought it would. But hell, he's lighting it up right now in Oregon. You know, they sprinkling his name for a Heisman vote and all that old good stuff. And you know, Oregon's been rolling with him at the helm. So you know, I'm interested to see how it's gonna pan out this week for the Pac-12 championship.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little ball. We're here to talk a little Oklahoma State Cowboys as they started the season 2-2 with a loss to South Alabama that was, in my opinion, probably the worst in 20 years, worst home loss in 20 years. And they find themselves after an entire season of just craziness in a Big 12 with a Big 12 championship opportunity. I don't even know where to begin. Like honestly, it starts with the bye week. And I truly believe that Mike Gundy is one of the best bye week coaches in college football. They came out of the bye week they had simplified that offense. They had simplified that run game. They had a plan. They implemented, and ever since then, they haven't looked back.
Yeah. You know, it's when we played, man, you know, I don't feel like we got the credit. Well, we got some credit, but we don't get all the credit that I think Oklahoma State deserves with running the ball. And you saw how things turned when they snapped the ball, turned around and just gave it to Ollie and let the Hogs up front block.
Right.
The whole season changed. And even Saturday, we were struggling in the first half. What we do, we start giving the ball to Ollie, and he ends up with 5 touchdowns. And I think, was it the game-winning touchdown in overtime?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
It's you know, as far as I can remember, when we was in that first spring with Coach Miles, we ran the piss out of the ball.
Yeah.
You know, and that's always been a staple of us. Hell, when the year before, when you guys had Tatum, you guys were running the ball. And that's always been a staple of Oklahoma State. You know, yes, you know, a couple years we went into the spread and all that other good stuff, but the staple of Oklahoma State has been running the ball for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, even when Gundy was doing that spread stuff, it still was, you know, 1,000-yard backs, Kendall Hunter and Joseph Randall, and I mean, dudes that can absolutely tote the rock. And he's always been his best version of himself with somebody that can run the football.
Exactly, and you know, anybody that knows football, that's been in football, you know, you get the run game established, it's going to be a long day for the opposing defense, man. And so, you know, like I said, it like you said, man, it was crazy starting off 2-2. You know, I'm gonna sit here and say I wasn't surprised about the South Alabama loss. You know, Oklahoma State is known to have those weird losses, man, over the years, man. I'm just like, everybody's in the office just scratching their head. I'm like, I kind of had a feeling this was happening. But you know, you watch his interviews every week and how he's just, you know, willy nilly on everything and kind of just giving the reporters you know, just feeding them little breadcrumbs here and there. But you know, I know in that team in that staff room, he's like, you know, we got to change some stuff up. You know, we got this ain't it. Especially, you know, with the potential that Ollie had in the beginning of the season. You know, I know he's like, you know, guys, we got to get the ball to 0. I can just picture that in my head, especially sitting in those staff meeting rooms. We got to get the ball to our backs. And you know, Big 12 championship, here they come.
How special of a player is Ollie Gordon when you talk about his ability to I think he reminds me, and I hate mentioning it because Adrian Peterson is literally one of the greatest of all time.
Oh, man.
That's what this kid reminds me of, right?
Yeah.
Like, I remember watching AP run, and And it was like in the fourth quarter, he went and replaced his battery.
Yeah.
It was like how everybody else is exhausted and you're out here just getting stronger. And that's the same thing with Ollie Gordon. I mean, he just absolutely in the fourth is at his very best.
Yeah, I would say he's like reincarnated Adrian Peterson. Because Adrian Peterson, man, like that first year we played him in 2004 and we lost 35-38. Remember he was just a freshman.
Yeah.
You remember that game when Prentice dropped the ball?
Yes.
Yeah. Remember Adrian was a freshman that year. And he tore us up. Well, he tore everybody up. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But man, watching Ollie, man, it looks effortless to him. Give him the ball. All right, I'll go get 6. I'll go get 8. I'll go for 250 this game. And just watching him, man. I recall getting up a couple times, going to use the restroom. I'm like, man, he scored again. He scored again. My wife's like, yeah, you missing a good game. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I had to go use the restroom real quick.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, but I really enjoy watching him, man. He's going to have a bright future, when he moves on and goes professional. But while we have him right now, man, I'm definitely, a proud poke to have to say, hey, man, hey, y'all can say what you want about some other guys, but I wouldn't mind voting for him as a Heisman candidate.
No doubt. Ollie Gordon is definitely riding for the brand, and it's amazing to see him wearing our colors.
Absolutely.
Thoughts on the play of Alan Bowman? I think it's I'll give the kid some credit. He's got some moxie.
Yeah.
Right. He's not scared to throw the ball down the field. He'll get out there and compete and play the best. He'll give you everything he's got.
Yeah.
And at times it could be a little off, but I mean, he's a competitor and he's fought all season long.
Yeah. I mean, with Allen, first of all, I've enjoyed watching him. He's been saying everything right, doing everything right, staying clean. They had the little freeway competition in the beginning of the year. He played it like a professional. We all kind of knew the writing was on the wall, who should have been the guy and all that. And I've been involved in Oklahoma State quarterback battle, so I kind of knew all the workings of what's going on behind closed doors. But just like Ollie, man, I'm excited to have had him represent us. Like you said, he does take some chances, but I mean that's kind of what the game's about, man. He's played it well. He's leading us to a Big 12 championship, possibly a Big 12 champion win this week. They didn't play Texas this year, so This is our first time, going at them, and I'm very confident that those guys will show up and play.
I'm confident that they'll show up. I am, as we dive into the game here, it's an interesting matchup. I think you can honestly say the best player on the field is Oklahoma State's Ollie Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, what are you thinking? How many more Texas guys? Does Texas have the second, third, fourth, and fifth next best player? You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like the Texas roster is probably a little bit better than Oklahoma State's, and that's okay to say that.
Yeah.
But the Cowboys are unique, and Texas hasn't played anything quite like Oklahoma State this year. And the Cowboys are super resilient. I was mad as hell watching that game last weekend. They're down 24 points to BYU, who was hot garbage. And if BYU was any good, the score would have been worse because Bowman tried to throw him the ball 3 times in the first quarter. Like, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
But at halftime, I tweeted out, it was just like, what is a gutless first half performance? But the crazy thing is, they can come back and win this game.
They're still in the game. Still in the game, man.
Still in the game. I don't know, but they obviously can't start that slow against the Longhorns.
No, they can't. It'll be over fast if that happens. Texas Coach Sark has Texas flying high right now, and that's fine. But you are 1,000% right. We cannot play first half BYU. Obviously,
or Houston.
Don't get me started with
Yeah,
that one.
which
Don't
also
get me
was
started
crazy.
with that one.
Yeah.
Don't get me started with that one. Yeah, we have to play our best game all year from jump, or it's going to be a long day.
You think that if there's the hard thing about being a team like Oklahoma State, where your success is predicated on traditional run formations, is your ability to get in a week like this and get creative is nullified to a degree, right? Like you can't, there's not a whole lot you can go into this week and say, okay, cool. Here comes Texas, Big 12 championship. We're going to change up this 20% of what we do, right? It doesn't allow you to be overly creative. But if there was a wrinkle that they could throw in the mix, what do you think that would be?
That's a good question. I mean, I really don't know. I mean,
It would probably have to be, in my opinion, it would be creativity in the backfield, right? Like the Nixon kid, I think is a unique skill set also as far as just straight line speed. That kid can fly.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to see them, a lot like Kansas, show some things in motion, show some things in formations, do a little smoke and mirrors, try to hide what you're doing. Even though what you're doing is super simple, but you know as well as I do what you could do with simple motions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was kind of thinking, some Wildcat with Ollie and some zone, some outside zone power read type stuff.
Wildcat. Yep. Can't let that dude throw the ball though.
Yeah. Well, let's keep the ball in his hand. Power, some orbit motion, that type of stuff. That always hurts defense. Now you have an extra blocker for him. That type of stuff just on a short week. If it was a bye week, then yes, we could do some stuff like that. But you were talking about some smoke screen and stuff. Remember, we used to have Charlie and Billy Badgerman, and we used to smoke them over and then motion them over, and
yes, all kinds of crazy.
We did some stuff back in the day, boy.
Yeah, bless a little mad scientist. That stuff works, though. That stuff works. Any chance that Texas shows up overconfident, because those dudes are just arrogant. They have been forever, and they haven't even been good the last 10 years.
No,
they got a good little squad this year. They've done decent.
Yeah,
but I think that they show up a little cocky, and if this is the type of team that you don't want to do that with, like Oklahoma State's going to make Texas, no matter what the score of this game is going to be at the end of the day, Oklahoma State is going to put hands on Texas this weekend. Right. Correct. And Texas probably hadn't had hands put on them like the Cowboys are going to, as far as just brute power. Like this is just basic football. And I wonder how they'll respond to it. Like if Ollie can get going in the first quarter, this could be a game that Texas is not prepared for.
Yeah, and just my offensive mind, I'm preparing those other guys to, hey, we're going to try to establish the run because that's just who we are. But they try to load the box, guys. We're going to have to, you other guys are going to have to make some plays to ease that box so we can get back to establishing the run. But, I think when Texas beat Alabama this year, I just knew they were going to go back to old Texas and start dropping a few games. But, they stayed consistent all year, which hasn't happened in a long time. So, will they come out? I'm sure they will. This is the last Big 12 championship that they're going to play for. There's a lot on the line, but I know that up in Stillwater, what they're doing, what they're telling those guys, and I'm expecting a really good game, to be honest with you. But it all starts with the first snap of that ball, man, and it can go sour. First play of the game, kickoff for a return. Now the whole game plan and changed.
Right?
Yeah.
God, that would be a disaster. Don't even.
But hey, as a coach, you got to prepare for all that stuff, man.
Right.
I'm sure. To my knowledge, most of the staff is there from 2 years ago when they lost to Baylor. So I'm sure those guys are chomping at the bit to, let's not fall to the wayside. No matter who we're playing, we got to go get this win again because, teams aren't going to conference championships every year. Some are, but not everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, let's not make the same mistakes we did last year as a staff or last appearance as a staff. Let's go ahead and let's finish this thing from first play to last play of the game.
I asked my wife if she wanted to go to the game this weekend.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she was like, "Do you remember the I think it was 8 plays on the goal line that they had against Baylor that they failed to get she can't do it. She can't go back." And she flat out was like, "No, we're not doing it."
Yeah.
I feel like if Ollie Gordon was on that team, they would have scored a touchdown against Baylor back then, no matter who the defensive tackle was.
Yeah, they stole that one from us, man.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did. It's about time for Mike Gundy to get another one.
Mm-hmm.
It's been what? This will be over 10 years since the last Big 12 championship with the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Give me a score.
Oh. All right, I'm going to go 28-21 Good Guys.
28-21 Oklahoma State. You heard it here first from Bobby Reid.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, man. I love you, brother.
Yeah, I love you too, man. And good to see you, and good luck with your off season. And are you guys still playing?
No, we just lost last week, man. We we lost to a school in Wichita. They had 2 running backs that was killing us. So they went on and put us out.
All right. Well, good luck this off season, and I'll come down and watch you guys next year.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
All right, Coach. Have a good one.
All right. Take care, man.